Welcome back, everybody, to the second part of the JavaScript control structures tutorial. We are going to be working on 5.6, which is general loops, all the way to 5.10, loop and a half. I'm only going to be working on the exercises. I'm going to skip the videos and questions. You guys can go ahead and do that. No big deal. I know it's hard, but guys, if you're watching, hit the subscribe button. Help me out. Get my numbers, spread the love. I'm trying to help you guys out. So you know what? Let's just get to it, right? So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and start with count by sevens. We are in the for loops, by the way. That is the general for loop, which has the basic function start, run code, nothing happens, right? What we need to do is, you don't have any start. Okay. What is the assignment? Write a program uses a general for loop to count by sevens. 500. It's going to count, so it's going to we are going to have some kind of print line here. And we are going to be printing our value of I, and it looks like well, it looks like it's going to be increasing by sevens. So let's just do it this way. We have three parts of the for loop. Actually, semicolon. Part 1, part 2, part 3. Don't forget how it goes. It goes, we have to initialize, test it, and then our increment, and our increment will be up by 7, so it'll be plus or equal 7. Okay, so we also want to make sure that we have our variable listed for variable I, and we're going to start at 0. I know that because it's over here. Starts at 0. We're going to print where it says it's going to be up to 500, so less than 500. And I believe that is going... Wait a second. This is what happens when you're dyslexic. I had assumed it was a 4 already, and it was not. So inside the 4. Go ahead and let's close it off. Our function. Hello. What a great way to start. You have to put your semicolon at the end. Let's run this code. Let's see what happens. And we are good to go. Everything checks out. We're going to submit. Continue. We're going to move on. Next question. Going to be powers of 2. Write a program that prints out all the powers of 2 less than 1 million. Hence, you can go through the powers of 2 by starting with the number 1 and multiplying by each time. Okay. So we're going to use a very similar start, right? 2 to the 0 is 1, so you kind of have to know that. So 1, how many we have here? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 0, 5, 6, 7, 8, 17, 18, 19, 19. Okay, so from 0 to 19, from I equals 0. I is less than 20, because we can do less than or equal to 20. Our increment is going to be I less or equal. Now, this doesn't sound like what they were hinting at assignment, so I might be a little off my idea, right? Because it says print all the powers of 2 Less than 1 million. See, this is confusing in a sense. Does it mean that, because here, this is less than 1 million, right? Does it mean that it's from 2 to the 0 to 2 to the 19, because that'd be 2 to the 19 right here? Or it means that all the every single power of 2 up to 2 to the 1 million, right? Interesting. I wonder what the example gives us on this one, counting by twos. Yeah, these examples do booty job at really helping you through these examples, because this is something that hadn't been discussed at all within it. Because what I'm thinking is we just keep multiplying by 2, so 2 to the I. How do you do powers? Well, see, we aren't even on that yet. See, that's something that's way beyond the scope of this, because you could do math component features like math functions, where you can raise a number to a variable, and you just set those within a parentheses, right? But nowhere has this been discussed. So I'm thinking it's something like sum equals the variable sum 0, or I'm thinking something like this, right? Where it'll be sum. They did that on these other ones, actually. See what I'm saying? Like, this is the for loop sum over here. All right, so this is the next chapter beyond us. So we're not going to do that. I'm not having a hard time with the coding. I'm having a hard time with what they're asking. And at this moment in time, for what knowledge that they've imparted upon us in this video, I think this is what they're asking. It's 100,000. That's 1 million. Remember, that right there is another way of saying, right? We're going to write this down here and then get rid of it. I equals I times 2. This is I plus I times 2, right? So this is another way to write it up here. And print line I believe this is what they're trying to get at, but the wording on this question is a little ambiguous at best. Hopefully I'm right. I have an issue with it. Oh yeah, I'm going back to my Java days. That's going to take forever. We're just going to stop. I don't even know why I did that. Oh no, my computer's going to get busted. Stop it. Stop. Thank God. Oh, let's just check the code. Yeah, iterating all the way to 1 million. That's going to break my computer. I don't care how much RAM you got. We are going to refresh this web page. Hopefully it saved my code. Okay, so it says that's exactly what it wanted. The code has been checked. It's fine. However, it's almost an infinite loop, and it almost crashed my browser. So, CodeHS, if you're watching, I would suggest changing 5.6.6 powers of 2 to something else. Just please, dear God, change it to something else. Make it just a little harder or something. Or in terms of like using what we've already done over here. That's just not good. We're going to exit this program safely. Okay, better sum. All right. This should be a little bit easier for us. Okay, this is 5.7.4. This is better sum. It has the assignment to following. Write a program that asks the user for two numbers. Okay, so let's just go ahead and let's start there, right? We have two variables, right? We don't know what we're going to call them yet. Let's just call them 1 and 2 for now. Why not? Right? Same sequence. It's going to ask them, which is read int. Actually has this kind of format to go along with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create the skeleton, copy and paste it over. It asks them for two numbers. So number 1 and number 2. Okay. You're there. Using a for loop, add all of the numbers from the first to the second. For example, if the first number is 6 and the second one is 8, the result is 21. Add all of them from those two. Okay, so we're getting our maxes and our mins. Okay, that makes so much more sense. Okay, so like it goes from 6 to, I was like, where'd they get 7 from? Okay, so let's change this up. Let's let's do this min and max. What if this is our max? Or what if that one is our max and that one's our? Okay, so starting value or lowest value. That one and highest. Cool. We need to put another variable in here called sum. You have to initialize it, make sure that's been defined. That way later on when we make our for loop, have to, like we can find it. And then at the out of it, after it sums it all up, we are going to print that sum. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to go from I equals, from variable, right? I equals, min. I is less than or equal to the max. It says to increment up in terms of 1, so I plus plus. Doing this correctly. Going to sum itself. Sum plus equals previous sum plus whatever I value we have. Let's run this code. I don't know. Let's do 5. 5 to 8. 5 to 8. 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. 8. 7 is 5. 20 plus 6. Yep, 26. Excellent. Code is good to go. Perfect. Do they really think? Read the brief overview of what a factorial is in math. Okay. So, write a program that prints out factorial when it is defined as n times n minus 1, n minus 2, dot, dot, dot. For a given constant n, loops and variables to print out n factorial. Oh, I say this word, factorial. For loops and variables to out. And 5. Okay, so we're gonna put our for loop in here. Let's go ahead and that's there. Now it's variable I. Now it's gonna be equal to some number, 0 or 1 probably. We're going to have I less than or equal to some number. And it's going to increment possibly downwards or upwards. I think depending upon how we set this up, right? So if we, like this one right here, this is incrementing downwards, so that's I minus minus. Whereas this one is going upward. Whereas maybe the other way, I could go upwards. I could do like min to max, like start at 1 and get up to that variable number, or I can start at that variable number n and pass down it and make sure that we sum it up. Solve it. Sure that we have initialized a variable sum equals 0. Sum equals so let's start it. Let's do this. Let's start at 1 and let's go all the way to the number that we are looking for. That would be, in this case, it's n, right? It doesn't say anything about asking user input, so once it all the way n, where I is going to be going upwards every single time. Okay, so the program that. So we will multiply it each time. So start at 1. So it'll be times I. Start at 0. Everything times 0 is 0. So if we right. Print line our sum. Run this code. 5 times 4 times 5 times 4 is 20. Is 120. I'm sorry, times 60. 120. Code. Nice. Wow. I can't believe we figured that one out. Wow. On my first attempt too. I'm not that good at this stuff too. So we just gotta talk it out a little bit. Cool. All right. For the next one, we're at all dice values. What's it asking? Write a program that prints all possible dice rolls with 2 die. To do so, you should use a double for loop. Yep, you can do something inside of it, right? So we'll do an I and a J. That tends to be what we do. We have variable sides on dice, so we're going to go from I equals 1 to sides on dice, and we're going to increment by 1. So let's just go ahead and let's just write that, right? For variable I equals, and that's sides on dice. Oh, I'm sorry. For I equals 1 all the way to I is less than or equal to sides on dice, right? Then we're going to increment plus plus. We are going to want to print something out. However, just because I've worked with these enough, we need a for loop inside of a for loop. So I'll tell you why here in a second, but let me just show you what it's going to look like. And it's going to be very similar. However, instead of I, we need J. You could do K. You could do whatever alphabet letter suits you best. I don't care, although common practice would be I's and J's. And we are going to want to print all the values of I, comma, J. However, if we do I, comma, J, that won't work because remember, you can't print a string unless you do plus in quotations the comma point, right? And then we have to do plus J at that point, right? Cool. So now let's run through it, right? So in this for loop, first thing you're going to do is you're come up with I equals 1, right? And for I equals 1, right, because that's where we're at, it's going to run this whole for loop first. So it's going to go from I equals 1 inside in terms of for that, and it's then going to run J equals 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5, comma 6. And then it's going to go to I equals 2. And then it's going to go J equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So it does the I's one at a time, and it does all the J's for them. And that's what we want here. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, then 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So these are all the I's get run first with their J's, and they combine them together. I believe this should run properly. We are missing something. My results. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. Nonsense. Where is this nonsense? Ones. What's wrong with this code? This code is beautiful. Let's do it this way. It's out here. What's the comment out again? That it? Yes, it is. Find out what is wrong with my code here. Let's do this. Ah! I see it. Do you see it? I'll give you hints right here. God, so small. It was not perfect. I take it back. I apologize. Okay, we should be in chapter 8 now. And the first one's going to be lots of dice. So now we're in random numbers. Okay, so this is where you have to use the randomizer. They've given you some examples over here. Choose a random integer. Is it true or false? Next float. I don't remember what next float does. What if we just randomly use next float, right? And see what it, right? do this. I just want to know what it does. Okay. Oh, okay. So it does any decimal. So the difference between an integer and float is okay. Okay. So this is what we call a double in Java, but in JavaScript, it's a float. Got you. I got you. Cool. Cool. All right. Let's see. Write a program that rolls a six-sided die 100 times. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's write our general for loop here, right? For variable I equals 0 or 1, right? We could do 0 or 1. If we did 0, it would be 0 to less than 100. If it was 1, it'd be 1 to 100, right? So I'm just going to do I equals 0 because that one just makes the most sense to me. Where I is less than 100, right? So if we start at 0, 0 is technically our 1. So we could easily do this, right? No big deal. But once again, I prefer to start at 0. This is what I like to do. I plus plus. Right, our brackets. I like how in this course they put the brackets over here, but in the Java course, the brackets is underneath and it's so much messier. I just looks messier. Okay. Prints out all of the roles. Okay. So we are going to do a randomizer. Let's just call, look, they even give it to us. They're so nice. And then we're going to print line every one of those roles. Oh. Code works. It's a success. Beautiful. What are we doing? Write a program that draws a random colored square centered on the graphics canvas. Looks like they're all the same size and dimensions. It's in the same spot. It's in the dead center of it. So we're going to use the randomizer. Get a next color here. Okay. So I'm going to use randomizer. I think we need a for loop in this case. But how does it know to print it? Okay, I remember. Yeah. So what we need to do is we need to define the dead center of this canvas. And in order to do that, we had to use get width and get height. And I don't know if you guys remember that from the last tutorials that I did with y'all. Wonder if it's in here. Randomizers, canvases, right? Returns the width of the canvas, returns the height of the canvas, returns the x coordinate of the center, and return. Okay, so like there we go, right? So there's our center. So let's put that in here. That'd be center width is on the horizontal x. Let's do center y, and this get height. Okie dokie. Have to create a new object in this case. In this case, we are going to be doing a square. A rectangle, I guess. All rectangles, all squares are rectangles. We have to position it, right? So we have to set its color and position. All right, so here we go. Let's use what we already got. Help us out. Its side length has already been defined. It's a square. That's going to remain true. Its set position, we're going to put it in the center X. Center. Can't help but feel that something is too... Okay. This color blue is not for us. We also have to do add rectangle. Don't forget. As we call it. I could change this all to square, but why not? However, back to the color. Well, ADD right now. The randomizer is what we're going to use to set the color. Something's off. Looks like that right there is dead center. So the top left of the square. So what we need to do is need to get this thing to move up by half of its length and over half of its length. Because I need this to go right here, right? So in order for it to be like transplant this center on this exact point, it has to move over by half its length and up by half its length. I don't remember if that's plus or minus 2. That right there is something else to me, because like this is 0, 0 right here, and this is for me going down negative, but some people and when they, I don't know with the program with the canvas if that's positive. Don't remember. It looks like it's positive. Yeah, positive. So we have to kind of invert our frame of reference here, right? So this is positive going higher in the positive scale, and this is going higher in the positive scale. So with our test case, we need to go the other way. So we have to go negative up and negative over. So these are actually going to be both minuses. Half of the square lengths. So minus for both of them. And it's going to be the side length divided by 2. Just use the information we got, right? See if we can figure it out. Yes! Beautiful. Ah, I'm a monster. Perfect. Oh, okay. That's it. 5.8. Now in 5.9. Inventory. Almost there. Write a program that keeps track. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this was while loops. Okay, so these are while loops. Our code's gonna be in here. Starting items in inventory. While. Okay, so it's gonna be while our number of items is less than the starting items. In some sense, right? So. Let's see. Write a program that keeps track of a simple inventory for a store. While there are still items left in inventory, ask the user how many items they would like to buy. Then print out how many are left. Have blank items in inventory like to buy. We're going to have to minus some things here. Okay. Okay, so here's what we got. Here's what we got. I know for sure we have a while loop. While loops. While this condition is break it, right? Have our starting items. So while let's see. What subtracted 0. At 0, it's all out. Okay, so while I is greater than 0, we're going to have an enormous while loop because there's a lot that's on here. And at the end of the while loop, print line, and it's going to say all out. Sorry. all out. That is actually a string in quotations. Cool. Let's see what we got. All right. It's actually not I. It's actually number of items. That's our variable that we're working with. Okay. It should. Okay, so this is our phrase right here. Okay. Get rid of this. Hold on. We have blank items in inventory. Now, that actually is going to, we should put this quotes because we want number of items to display. How many would you like to buy? And it says it's asking them for it, right? How many would second. Now we have. Oh, there's so much to this. Okay. These are going to be two different lines. Oh, God, we actually have three lines. Have. How many would you like? Now we have 6. So after in the future we are okay. So it's always going to start off with we have number of items. It's always going to start off that way. But after we run through this, it's going to change over to now we have blank and like now we have 16 left. Right? So this right here is our loop. So let's print line this. We have blank numbers. Sorry. Fantabulous. That's what it always opens. Well, that's what it does open with. So that's how I know start with that, because it says we have this many. Then it prompts them for that question. And remember, when it's a prompt, it's a variable. So let's do I don't know what variable we want to call this. How many would you like to buy? So customer buys. We'll read int. How many would you like to buy? Little space. And they cast their variable. So far, let's just that'll actually be an infinite code. Somewhere in here, we are going to have to do number of items equals number of items from the previous minus customer buy. Just run that. Oh, I would like to buy 10. Okay. I'd like to buy another 10. Okay. All out. Yeah, nice. Okay, so I see some space there. We have blank items. Space there. All right, cool. I remove item. Line 3. Output should. Right to me. Oh, line 3. Line 3 here is 12. Okay, that's because we're missing a line. Which should say, now we have blank. Right? So it should then print out. Now we have this many. I'm seeing a potential fault in this logic. even though it does look like it's working, and this does seem to be the right idea. What happens if they want to buy more? Like, for example, we're at 20. I'll run on the next one. I just want to see if this runs properly. Now we're at 5, and they're all out. Cool. Now we have 5 left. All right, we have to actually space there. Check the code. Right, if I move exactly, what if I remove 21 items? You should state that there is not enough. Okay. This right here is still correct. I think we need to put this in an if loop. If the number of items is greater than or equal to the customer buying. So if we have more items than you're buying, aha, yes, if we have more items than you're buying, then we are going to do this. Else, if that's not true, I can't stand the formatting on this. If that's not true, we need to print line what they're saying in here. That there is not enough inventory for that purchase. This looks way better. I did not expect it to have this kind. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Cool. So as you can see, like, my thought processes aren't very linear, but what I'm doing is, as I'm reading it and I'm getting ideas of what the code needs to have in it, right? I'm putting it in there and I'm like writing it down, and then I'm organizing it. Now, some people would like argue that you should write a whole bunch of pseudocode, right? Like, use comments, say it should go from this to this to this to this to this. And I've done that, but it helps to an extent. It really does, and I would absolutely recommend doing it, but it doesn't, for me, help me out. Like, it's not the 100% strategy that works 100% of the time. It works, and it works well, but it doesn't. It's not the complete package, is what I'm trying to say, for a strategy. Oh, wait a second. I forgot to submit that. I want my credit, bro. Fibonacci. So it's what it does is it adds the first number to the second, and then it adds the second to the third, and then the third to the fourth. So if you start with 0, 0 goes to 1. So 0 plus 1 gives you 1. 1, right? So that's where we get here, right? And then 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus 2 equals 5. So what we have to do is we have to sum its previous or its next predecessor. And I think what we can do is we can actually start at 1. They just say our first one is just going to be 1. That way we don't have to worry about that. We just got to be like, it equals, or we could say it equals 0 or something, right? And it's plus itself. But we are in while loops. Okay. Let's just do it this way. This variable start equals, let's just say it's 1. That was the first idea we had, right? So we're going to run with it. We're going to run this loop as long as whatever variable we're working with I'm just going to put x for now. Well, whatever variable is less than 1,000, we're going to have to define that variable. We're going to print something. So let's just write it out. I think this should be easier with a for loop. No, this wouldn't be easier with the for loop because what you have to do is you have to add 2 variables together. Interesting. So we want a variable, let's just call it our current sum, and let's just say that equals this let's do now variable plus next variable, right? Means we need a now and next. Now, the reason I'm trying to do the Fibonacci, now plus next equals future, which is our current sum. This is tough. Let's think. Sums. Well, first I want to print starting variable. For sure. I want to print the first one. Okay, so then it'll execute. And then it'll print the start. So we then have to replace the start. And I wonder if we're going to replace it with current sum. What's our next one, though? We don't have a next. Plus. Okay, now we got to define next. But then the next also has to increment. Oh, this isn't a for loop, so it'll run it. Print the start 1. It has to print a 1 again, so it's not. We're not gonna do print start. So it'll print 1. Need a variable next somewhere. Let's go ahead and let's define it, since that's what I said. Now plus now. Start. Well, whatever variable is starting. Is it 1? This is the start. This is the next. Right, we're initializing it. Okay, so yeah, this is the initial. Initialize it with 1. Then current sum is 2. And then that'll be our new start. And then our next. Hey, here we go. Our next is going to be plus its previous. Start. What's next? Oh, something is not right here. Oh, X. Oof. Okay, so we're getting there. It's definitely looking better. We're on the right tracks. 1. Oh, we gotta print. We gotta print twice. First, print second. Oh, what am I thinking? Second. I'm thinking next. Run this code. That can't be it. Is that it? Oh, let's go, baby. Oh my god, that was a mind craze right there. Oh my god. I love it. Wow. Okay. Can't believe that just worked. Then there were only 2 left. Snake eyes. we are in the loop and a half, which they started introducing breaks, which these kind of assignments can get kind of crazy when they incorporate breaks. There's gonna be a lot of if loops, a lot of for loops, while loops. Like you could do loops inside of loops. It's crazy. So we're gonna want to roll 2 dice. So we definitely need interesting. 8 rolls. What? It needs to have a counter too. So every time it rolls, it's gonna have to do plus plus. So we need a counter for rolls. Okay, so need a variable that counts rolls. Start with 0. This is a while loop or for loop. Okay, so for loops go from start to finish with no predefined anything. I could do from like 0 to 1,000. You're guaranteed to get a roll of 1-1, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather use a while loop while the condition, while something is true or while something is false. Let's just do this while, and then we're just gonna put in here condition is true. We're gonna run it. Right. Needs to print out something. It's gotta roll twice. Need a randomizer. Randomizer. Let's get our rolls, please. Variable and next integer, I believe, is what we are going to use. Oh, it tells you right there. So we're going to do 2 rolls. Variable roll 1 and variable roll 2. Cool. And then it says what you rolled, so it should print out print line, and it says rolled. There's a space after that. Plus roll 1. Plus roll 2. But if we do that, there's not going to be a space. I need a space here, which we got there. I need a space in between. I actually have to add. Funny how this thing works, isn't it? Space. If statement. If roll 1 equals roll 2. Wait a second. That's not true. It's not roll 1 equals roll 2 because it says it needs snake eyes, right? Roll 1 equals 1 and it's the ampersand, I believe. Roll 2 1. Then we have to break it at this point. This is how we break our infinite loop / not infinite. But we need to print that as well. Print line. Oh, I can see the light. Show you why I did that. Oh, God. This is our counter. Our counter is our count for our rolls. Took you blank to get snake eyes. Let's just see what we get at this point. Oh, yeah, we don't have a condition yet. I'm so dumb. Okay. Just get rid of space. What's our condition? I don't know, as long as it's just, I want it to always keep going. So I just want it to be true. Is that it right there? Just put in true. Wow. Cool. 0. Oh, no, 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 no. I never changed that. Should count. Time it rolls. Let's count it. All right. Yeah, yeah. I like to do this. Every time it rolls, let's do count rolls plus. Right. Increment by 1. I can just do count rolls equals count rolls plus 1. I want the shortcut way. I'm missing the semicolon code. Boom, baby. Let's go. 18 rolls. Cool. Let's see that. I missed semicolon on lines 2, 9, and 13. Oh, check it out. Oh, thank you for that. That was nice of you. That's a good one. It's a very useful test. Cool. I like it. Submit. Write a program that uses a loop and a half to prompt a user for a password. You should keep prompting the user for a password. If they get it correct, break out of the loop. If they don't get it correct, you should error message. I really want to go back and use the code that we got here. But I don't. Right? I really want to use this. But I don't. Mainly because I don't like. It doesn't say anything about counting, so we don't have the counting value in here. But while true, ask the user to enter their password. So prompting the user, okay. Let's prompt them. Variable pass, user pass. That one. Well, that's an integer. Is it though? It's it's not. It's not an integer. See, this is the difference between Java and JavaScript. Okay, so in Java, you can't say variable here. You would have to put int, double, string, whatever. But this is way more generic. That makes it a little easier to write, honestly. But this is a string. It is not. I was going to put read int here, but it's not. This is going to be read line. And it's going to prompt the user for something that says enter password. Then it's going to say either sorry that did not match or you got it. So this is an if statement. If correct, then this. Else, do it again. Right? Else. Print line. Okay. Okay, so what's the condition for breakage? We can get rid of that so we can see more of the code. Okay, the condition for breaking is if they guess the password. So that would be if user pass equals secret. Print line. Got it, dude. Else it needs a print line. Sorry, did not match. Okay, now this setup looks fine, except for one thing, and I'm wondering if you can identify where I've made a severe error in this code. I typed it as I was thinking it out loud, but there was something in here that is just. Wait a second. I'm working with JavaScript again. It says in Java, and in Java you can't do this. I bet you we can do this in JavaScript. Enter password. ABC 1 2 3. Got it. Yep. Ah. And that actually is it. Yeah, you can't actually do that in Java with strings. Check the code. Code works, and that actually will round us out for the JavaScript control structures. Excellent. So, guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully, this helped you out. If you liked it, subscribe. If you need anything, write a comment in the video, and I'll try to make it happen. Stay safe, guys.